If you are unable to free range your chickens on your property, you're going to have to use what's called a chicken run. Simply put, a chicken run is an outdoor area that is usually fenced in that contain your chickens. It protects them from predators and it also keeps them from going places where you don't want them to go. I'm also going to show you my current chicken run right there behind me with our current flock, as well as a new run I'm building right in this area to put my little chicks here outside basically for the first time. So to give you perspective of this chicken run right here, it is 24 feet wide and 24 feet long from that post to this one over here. I've got tools and stakes and my four-wheeler and posts and everything kind of in this area because I'm in the process of building a new chicken run for these little guys right over there. Now this flock that I have right here in this chicken run uses this coop. They're laying a ton of eggs right now. Very, very successful flock. We've got 12 hens in here. I get anywhere between 10 and 12 eggs a day, so they're producing really well. It is May, so this is prime time for egg production. Currently, I did put this Premier poultry net right here to keep my adult hens over here because I need to take this 5-foot field fencing right here, which I highly recommend you use 5 feet, not 4. And I actually need to take this field fencing and take it from this post and put it down to this post over here. And that's an additional 20 feet that I'm adding on to this chicken run over here. But because my little chicks over here are so small, they're not ready to be put in with the larger hens. It's not going to be a good thing. Therefore, I need to keep them separated. This one is going to be 24 feet across and 20 feet wide this way. The reason why I'm not making it double the size, 24 by 24 and another 24 by 24, is actually because of this tree right here. This is an oak tree. And if I were to go 4 feet further, I would have the fence tight up against this tree. And that is not good for raccoons because a raccoon is going to climb up this tree and have easy access into the chicken run. In my experience, I've been using, basically as long as I've had chickens, this 5-foot field fencing right now, I've never had one predator inside this chicken run. So we can discuss the different types of fencing you can use for your area, but I have a river bottom setting here. I live by a trout stream and a river right over there, so I have animals everywhere. So there's 12 mature hens back over there. You can see them lounging around. But in this chicken tractor right here, which is what I use, by the way, to put my chicks outside for the first time, keeps them safer than typical fencing like that. Not to mention, chicks are not very good at detecting predators like mature chickens are. So anyways, when you look in here, there's clearly a lot more than 12, let's just put it that way, all sorts of different breeds. And so they're gonna occupy this area until they're mature and we can start combining the flock. And of course, because that coop is that size, I'll need to extend that coop and add on to that space as well, so they all fit in there. I like to use small softball-sized trees on my homestead because it saves us money. We also use T-posts like this. They don't have to be as tall as the fence themselves. Actually, in a way it's better because if a predator were to climb up this fence like a raccoon, it makes it much less stable up here. They kind of freak out and they're not going to feel comfortable going over. Although T-posts can get expensive, especially when you have to buy a whole bunch, they go in a heck of a lot easier than the wooden posts because you don't have to use a post hole digger. You just pound them in and then you move on to the next one. Yes, 3 feet right here, exactly. Once you do this a couple times, you can kind of get a good idea of what it's going to be each time you do it. 3 feet down there, I'm lucky as well because we live by a river. We've got this really nice sandy soil. So once you make it through the first 12 inches of topsoil, you can see the dark color up here, then that lighter brown down there. First 12 inches isn't easy. You've got a lot of roots, harder, more compact soil. Once you get past that, it's nothing but this sandy stuff and it gets a lot easier. And then the tree I use is typically a maple or an oak. If you use pine, popple, basswood, softer type trees, they're eventually going to rot out in the ground, which isn't a problem. You can pull them out and the hole's already made. You just replace it with a tree about the same size. But these maple trees, these will last several years. As a matter of fact, the maple trees I've used for other things on my property, posts for the garden or posts for the other chicken run, I put those in there, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, and I still haven't taken them out and they still haven't rotted out. So try to get a good hardwood if you do it this way. It's not gonna be perfect. You can see how it's like a little crooked here. It's not gonna matter because once I attach the fence is just kind of gonna fit to this contour. It's homesteading. You're being resourceful, using what you got, trying to save money, trying to be smart about what you're doing. Once I get this in here, I just pack the dirt around it, stomp on it a couple times. That's really all you need to do. It's gonna fill in naturally. What you could do too to help the process is dump some water in there. It's gonna take all the air pockets and help that compact and solidify a little bit more than if you didn't use water. There we go, dump that in and still till it's a little loose, so it's gonna really make that settle down. Then I start putting more dirt in on the top. It'll also firm up over time. It's not gonna be perfect. There you have it. Corner post that's already there. All right, here's the next post. This is a pretty good size one too. Drop her in. Now we're gonna see some massive progress because this fence here can be removed and opened up to go from this post to that post and then to that post. So since it's 24 feet wide and this is 20 feet long, obviously we're gonna have some overhang that I'll just cut off. That's not a problem at all. 4 feet overhang I can cut. I can just use that on a door, which I plan on putting over there at some point. The reason why I've got these electric fence posts right here, that's actually 6 feet wide, and I plan on having a big door here that's gonna swing open because I can then back up a trailer or something and collect a lot of that compost. A lot of the compost eventually comes down this way because it is higher in elevation, so naturally it just kind of starts coming down this way. And it's easy to shovel things out. If I need to go in there with a wheelbarrow, you've got lots of space in between. I just like having a big wide door as well as a general entry door like I've got over there for people to enter just to do random things like water and feed and collect eggs if you have to, or do whatever, that kind of stuff. I started pulling back some of this leaf mulch and wood chips so I could free the bottom of this fence because this is inside of this organic matter quite a bit, so it's built up over the years. Just makes it easier to release this fence as I open it up and put it from that post down to that post over there. One thing worth noting, if you're going to use zip ties, this little post right here, not very big around, zip ties will work, most of them. However, if you are going to use larger posts like I have right here, you cannot get most zip ties around here. You would think you could, even the longer ones. So you're gonna have to get the extra long ones that are gonna fit around here. But there is a much better thing to use instead of zip ties. I just use zip ties for T-posts and small ones because they're cheap and convenient. What I suggest you use instead are fence staples. Yes, that's right, I organize my building supplies in tackle boxes, fishing tackle boxes. So fence staples like this, these work really well. And you can just pound the fence in to the posts, especially those larger posts, with these. All right, it's about time. Start moving this fence over. Once you get the first one in like that, it kind of takes the tension off of you having to hold the fence up. So a quick little update. I took this T-post and this T-post away from there where it was before, supporting the fence that I put over there. This is where I'm going to have the gate because it's a big access point. It's 6 feet across. So I have a big wide gate in case I need to put a trailer in here, wheelbarrow, have some nice space. I am just gonna run the fence from here all the way over there, which is 20 feet. Not supported in the middle with a T-post or one of these wooden trees. The reason why is because I would like to put a door over here, but I don't have the materials for it yet. And what I mean by a door is I mean a human access door like that one that I have on the other side. I like to have one there, and I'd like to also have one here. It would just be more convenient to have two doors than a big access gate over there rather than just one and have to walk all the way down over here. Anyways, to support the fence, at least to keep it from wobbling back and forth and being pressed against by chickens, not that they do that really, but any predator, I'm going to use this, which is a corner post for electric poultry netting that you tie up your poultry netting to just to tighten the corners a little bit. And I'm just going to set this in the ground, stake it into the ground, and then, which you can just push your foot down to do that. And this will give the fence something to tie up against. So at least at the bottom, if you zip tie it, it can't be pressed against by predators. Here's the update. Got the fence stapled into this post and these temporary electric fence posts. Then we've got a zip tie here on this electric fence post. Remember, this is temporary. I'll put a nice door in here, access point eventually. What this does here is prevents animals from pushing in because this is here. They can't push this in. This is pushed into the ground pretty far. So obviously not going to keep out a bear, but nothing really does other than electric fence. Now I just have to go get a gate that I already have made from a previous project. I'll just reuse that. And this is now connected too. So the only opening right here for these chicks is this 6-foot opening right here where we're going to put the gate shortly. So we're getting really close to having this run complete and letting out those little chicks over there. But there's one precaution I'm going to take. I have some netting right here. This is bird netting, deer netting, things you put around maybe your trees or your crops that you don't want animals on. Because this field fencing, which I highly recommend you use, is 2 inches by 4 inches, in the past when I've let chicks out like this, they have managed, they put a lot of effort into it, but they have managed, if they really, really want to actually squeeze through there. It sounds crazy, but they're a lot of fluff and they're not as big as they look. Those little chicks, usually because they're scared, not because they want to escape, they just, you know, by default, they just go whoosh, and they run straight through, and then all of a sudden they're out. And then you got a problem trying to catch these little chicks, which are surprisingly fast, believe it or not. So I'm gonna run this deer fencing or this deer netting all the way across starting there and just temporarily zip tie it on, maybe just up to about here or something, 4 feet or whatever. It's just to prevent something from happening that probably won't happen, but just in case I don't wanna be chasing chickens around, I'd rather have them enjoying their space stress-free than being out in my yard, wandering around where they shouldn't be, prone to predators. I've got this gate here. This gate was used for a different purpose a while ago. It's only 4 feet tall, as you can see. It's not as tall as the 5-foot field fencing. At some point, those chickens will be able to jump over this. Chickens typically can jump up to 4 feet, the chickens I've had at least, but not much over that. So what I mean by that is they'll jump up here and perch and then jump out. So obviously that's not good. I'll eventually need to I'll probably create a new gate that's higher to match the height of the 5-foot field fencing. Everything's in. You can see the netting there. It's not pretty. It's just kind of a temporary thing. I think that's all I need to be able to do. And I would just randomly put zip ties, little zip ties, as you can see one here, and then kind of go across the bottom as you can see one down there. So it's now time to let the chicks out of their little brooder, which is actually just a meat chicken tractor right over here. What's really interesting about these meat chicken tractors is that they're so versatile. I built this so that it fits in a standard size pickup truck. It's very affordable. It has wheels that connect back here so you can move this around. I purposely made it about 6 inches shorter than an 8-foot length so that you can have an easy carrying handle right there. It's very convenient. I left this side open for sunlight and you can pour their water through there. If you want to do that, lift it up. You have a rope on that side to catch the roof. All of the chicks are safe in here. You got plenty of room for many chicks. And actually, I need to grab their feeder because this is going to be now out in the grass. And in order to give them access coming in and out of this chicken tractor on a daily basis, all I do is I lift this up and prop a little piece of wood underneath. You can use a brick, bucket, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And that way they have access to coming in and out. Then at night, once they go in here, I remove this just as you see it now and put this down flat so it keeps them safe. So for a predator to get through this exterior fencing and get through here is pretty unlikely. And if that were the case, I just get out my electric fence and that pretty much takes care of everything. Let's prop this up and then we're gonna scoot out of here and give them some space and just kind of observe from a distance and then kind of see what they do and how they react to their new area. So all we do is we lift this up, push this under there, scoot back, scoot out, girls, come on. I have to move this gate. Well, we can't go by them. They're gonna walk out now and start exploring. They might take a while though. They're kind of shy, aren't they? Oh yeah, here they come. Take over here, girls. Let's go look. Do you see them? Yeah, they're sneaking out. No, we're just gonna watch from out here. So we have golden lace Wyandotte. You can see the stripes on that one. These all black ones, even with the black feet right there, that's a Gila black, that's a hybrid. The white one is a Delaware. I've only got 3 of those. And then we have Rhode Island Reds that are still inside apparently. Wow, are they exploring? Yeah, we have to stay out here and give them space. That's why they stay in there and we stay out here. Okay, are you doing the video? That's the water. Very good. You have to point the phone where people can see the chickens. Yeah, there you go. Wow, good job. It's always funny to watch chicks do that for the first time. They start flapping their wings and flying back and forth. They get really excited the first time they can really do that and actually go a decent distance. That's the Delaware breed. That's probably my top 2 or 3 type of chickens. I've got some over there, some adults. They're incredible egg layers, homesteading flock, friendly, big, cold resistant, predator savvy. They're really cool. So this is my view. Got the chickens over there. I'm just sitting in my little landscaping fire pit area in this chair. Garden over here, it's very early yet. Nothing's really growing particularly well, at least. And this is our little homesteading spot. It's kind of a neat little area. So from this spot by our fire pit, you can kind of observe everything. It's one of the reasons why I believe on having something that quote unquote looks nice, like your garden and stuff. Do make it look nice because it's gonna make you wanna be there more often. It's gonna make you wanna show other people how to live this type of lifestyle, encourage them. It's also something you wanna have look nice because it's gonna be next to your home in most cases. I'm a firm believer in keeping things as close as you can so it's more convenient, but also nicer. So I'm tending my garden. I like to keep it close so it's something I can just slip into, go back in the house, go out to the garden, do that kind of thing. These chicks are definitely feeling more comfortable walking around. They're sticking around their little coop still, but they're exploring, they're getting grass for the first time. They're enjoying life. If there's one day as a chicken owner that's by far better than any other day, I promise you it's the day when you let them outside for the first time. Not outside as in you put them in a coop outside and they're kind of stuck in one spot. I mean, that's good too. That's much better than being in a brooder inside or wherever. These chicks started out in our basement in a raised garden bed. Then they went out to the garage in a chicken tractor. Then they went outside in a chicken tractor with limited access just being in that tractor. And now they're finally where they're probably going to spend the majority of their life. They won't be here in the winter. I have a different winter setup for these chickens. But from late March, early April, all the way through probably November, the end of November, they're gonna be out here. And so this is the best day for me. The best day, hello. The best day as a chicken owner is to watch them be quote unquote free for the first time, explore grass, bugs, establish a better pecking order, do things chickens are meant to do, and not be confined in a small area. They are definitely loving life. Makes a huge difference when they've got room to roam. They've got 20 by 24 feet here. For the little chicks, They are doing great. If you have anything you'd like to add as far as things that I could do to improve, this obviously works for me and it has for several years doing chickens this way, put that down in the comments. I'm always happy to learn from you. Thanks for watching.